This indicator hasn't flashed for at least 3 years, and the last time it did, it had a dramatic impact on cryptocurrency. Not only that, but if you consider this piece of news that came in at just the most incredibly important time in crypto, then you'll understand that there's something very big that's about to unfold literally in the next few days. So do me a favor, hit that like button and let's find out what's going on. Now, before we get into discussing the signals and things that are flashing on the charts, which are incredibly important, let's understand a little bit more about this piece of news from the end of the day yesterday. Mt. Gox transfers $9 billion to a single crypto address. What the F is Mt. Gox? Well, if you're newer to crypto, then you might not realize this, but Mt. Gox was an exchange that a few years ago basically went down the pan and dragged a load of investors' money with it. Now, a load of those investors are trying to get their money back. There is a company that's trying to distribute those funds, and from tracking whale wallets, this handy whale alert tracker noticed that $9 billion was transferred from one Mt. Gox wallet into another wallet. This means that many thought that $9 billion of crypto was about to get sold and dump the price, which is pretty ridiculous considering the market cap of Bitcoin is $1.35 trillion with a T, and therefore selling of $9 billion actually wouldn't be that massive considering all these things. So why is this so significant? Well, because as you know, crypto is manipulated by big money, and big money likes to drop news stories that are pretty bearish around the times that the price is a little bit too high for them and they want to drag the price back down so that they can continue to buy at a lower rate. This is basically market manipulation and is an absolutely classic thing that happens time and time again. Now I know, you're like, get on with the stuff. Tell me about these flashing signals. Well guys, Crypto Moon shared this morning, talking about Ethereum above the EMA ribbon for the first time since peaking against Bitcoin. Now, I don't really care too much for indicators out there because they're on time delay and they don't really give us too much information. But if someone puts up a post with bright colors like this, it's hard for me to resist going and doing a bit of my own research. So he's saying that Ethereum Bitcoin is above these EMA ribbons for the first time in years and years, and this is apparently significant. He then goes on to say that the MACD is switching from red to green and we've had a bullish crossover down here, which to the untrained eye does seem pretty exciting. So like all good crypto investigators out there, I decided to take a little bit of a look at the charts, and something very interesting is showing to me today, and it's this. Bitcoin is down 1.1%, but Ethereum is down 0.5%. And also, most importantly, the Bitcoin dominance is suddenly at a position where it's starting to see a reversal, putting in this very healthy double top, where we're about to see a Bitcoin dominance dump towards the downside. Now, this typically up until now has only happened, we've had these pullbacks when Bitcoin is moving towards the upside, which means all the altcoins are pushing aggressively. But interestingly, today Bitcoin is down and the Bitcoin dominance is also down. This is something we haven't seen for years. And as we zoom out and look into this Ethereum Bitcoin chart, then you will see that instead of looking at trendy, colorful indicators, we can simply see that patterns have recreated themselves in a very interesting way. Now, as we can see, look into this Ethereum Bitcoin chart. You can see that these two red, large, rounded bottoms, which might be your thing, how we can see have happened at specific times in crypto. We then see a little break towards the upside, and then a pull back in towards this area, a push higher, and then eventually into a buy zone, creating a falling wedge. Ultimately a very bullish pattern that then breaks towards the upside. And I know lots of people want to argue with me, but you can't really argue with the fact that this is quite clearly breaking out as we speak, and it's all backed up by the fact that Bitcoin dominance is falling, Bitcoin price is falling, Ethereum price is going up, and everything looks very tasty. I think you'll agree. So what on earth is so significant about this? Well, I've drawn this nice little yellow circle for you to indicate where we are on this chart compared to where we were on a previous chart. And this is where we were all the way back on the 27th of February 2017. And if you're old enough to remember this from 7 years back, then you'll have known something very damn significant happened in that period, and it literally happened from the day. And this is what happened on the 28th of February 2017 for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And stick with me, guys, because I know you're like, oh, well, I hold lots of altcoins, I don't really hold Bitcoin and Ethereum. Guys, this is so important because when Ethereum really starts to crack on the heat, you're going to see a lot of altcoins exploding, and particularly a certain niche or narrative of altcoins more than any other. And here we are, 20th of February, you can see that Bitcoin had a last kind of final little bit of a push before then seeing a bit of a retrace from this level up here. Bitcoin then pulled back around 27%. Now, I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going to do that. I'm saying that Bitcoin could well continue to have a little bit of a squeeze higher, but it's more significant right now what's going on with Ethereum. So look, from the 28th of February, which is literally here, Ethereum then goes and rallies within the space of a couple of weeks, 236%. Not just a couple of weeks, about a week, it then goes sideways. And then you can see that it rallies all the way from down here, which is February, until June. It does a pretty much a 4 month straight up, with the exception of 3-day pullback, where it does a 28x. It then has a bit of a cool off period, and then you can see rallies into its first major bull market. And this is why it's so important right now. Everyone's fixated on Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin, yes, has been growing massively through the year. It went down to around $16,000, $17,000 around the bottom of the FTX crash. People now still asking if we're in a bull market, having gone to all-time highs. It's absolutely crazy to me that people are still in this mindset. But the reason they're feeling like this is because they're focusing more towards altcoins, because we've become a bit degenerate. We're looking to make bigger risks because we've been promised that there's more money to be gained in crypto. And there is, if you're smart about it. But look, this is also the last bull market. When Bitcoin suddenly reaches around previous all-time high levels and then has a bit of like sideways action like we're seeing right now, you can see that Ethereum runs kind of quietly, and eventually Bitcoin will start to maybe have a little bit of a move up, but Ethereum will move massively, way more aggressively against it. Okay, so when Bitcoin has more of a kind of a slower, elongated period, Ethereum demonstrates to us that confidence is back in the market, and people are now willing to move towards riskier assets outside of Bitcoin, and that is when we get our altcoin season. So which narratives, which altcoins? Well, guys, obviously, if you subscribed, I'll push you time and time again towards certain altcoins. But really, Ethereum has yet to perform this year compared with a lot of other years. What does that mean for us? Compared with a lot of other cryptos out there. Therefore, there are certain areas of the market that will probably perform better than others when Ethereum gets running. Because yes, we're going to see lots of other altcoins having strong periods of time, but around Ethereum, it's particularly likely going to be towards things like real-world assets and DeFi, something we haven't really seen much of a push in so far. So if you've been clinging on tightly to various DeFi tokens, there is a chance that you might see a bit of upside in them. We're also already seeing a strong push in real-world asset tokens, which are going to benefit from that recent Ethereum ETF update. So last week I talked about Clearpool Finance, and since talking about it, we then saw this strong push towards the upside, where we did eventually see something like a 68% move. It then subsequently pulled back, but I would anticipate if Ethereum does break significantly towards the upside, which I think is just a matter of time right now, we're going to see Clearpool having a good run. Again, you can see that Ondo Finance has been also having an incredible run, but I did talk about this lower down, and right now I wouldn't be personally aping into this because it's already pretty high up. Therefore, real-world assets could be definitely a place to be directing your attention. I will make a video later in the week where I go into more depth on certain real-world assets and dig in deeper to the narrative of real-world assets. Also, we'll start to look into various other narratives because, guys, when this altcoin season eventually hits, and it's going to hit very, very hard, so many different narratives are going to start exploding. I'm still big on BRC20 and all the tokens I've talked about in there. I'm still big on GameFi. I'm still extremely big and bullish on AI and Deepin. And while you're sitting there thinking about selling the bags that have been seeing a bit of a tough time recently and trying to then move that money into the likes of Ondo Finance, which has been rallying towards the upside, you're doing the biggest cardinal sin in crypto. You're selling from the coins that have been underperforming and moving into the coins that have been overperforming, and simply you need to just move in the other direction. So jumping back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now, you can see, is still in and around this area, but we are in a bull market. Over on my Twitter page, which is linked down below in the description, I was sharing this last week from Raoul Pal, talking about the banana zone, everyone's favorite. I believe there's now actually a Raoul Pal meme coin called the banana zone. And it talks about this, the summer and the fall. And as you can see, the yellow one is the summer, and then the red one is the fall. Right now, we're entering in to the yellow one, which is 2024. Crypto summer, a macro summer where we see quantitative easing going on around the world, where we see economies starting to be stimulated again, as this year is a UK general election. You've then got the presidential election happening at the end of the year in the US, where both governments are now flipping bullish on crypto because they're literally going to do it to try and win this election. This means that every speech you're probably going to hear going forward from Donald Trump and Joe Biden could well start to lean towards cryptocurrency and the things they're going to do for crypto. Just imagine the effect this is going to have on the markets going forward. I've also been showing you this, which hopefully has calmed you as we walk through. We are simply in this SOS phase, which shows a good dip down before a consolidation and a further move higher. So whether it's news or not, you can see that we're probably just having a bounce around in this SOS phase. If I dip into the days, you can see what that really looks like. I do believe in the next day or two, we're going to be pushing to around 71.5k. If we continue to do this, maybe some form of an ascending triangle gets made and we see a break higher. Now, I could be wrong, of course, but it seems to me that everything is leaning towards this direction as the markets couldn't be quieter right now. So if you're here and you're working on crypto at the time where everyone else is looking the other direction, then congratulations. Pat yourself on the back because you're exactly where you should be right now. When the markets are pumping, that's when you can go and chill out, hit the beach, and do whatever it is when you're making your millions. Now, in terms of where Bitcoin goes in the short to near term, I still believe that the next leg up is somewhere around this $84,000 mark, which is around the 1.618 from the swing high to the previous low. And whether it happens tomorrow, whether it happens next week, we're still very close. I don't see us going anywhere down towards these lows again. If we do, I still think this is the absolute bottom for us, and we're not going to see further downside. The more time this takes to build up, the more explosive it's going to be. And if you want to buy crypto, no matter where you live in the world, without a KYC or without a VPN, then make sure you hit the link down below for Bitunix. Bitunix is listing all the coins that I'm asking them to list on a daily basis, so to make sure you can continue leaving down below the coins that you want listed on this exchange. Also, later this week, I'm going to be talking about coins that have the potential to be getting listed on Binance soon. These are small to medium cap coins that will absolutely explode if they go ahead and get listed. This is going to be one of the most important videos I make this year, so make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. And make sure you sign up to Bitunix because I'm going to send them across this list and get them to list all of these different coins so that we can prepare for those Binance listings. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.